Hi, and welcome to episode 6 of the All You Need Is Love podcast. My name is Leah, and this is a knitting podcast. You can find the show notes on my blog, freezeframe.blogspot.com. And we also have a Ravelry group, which is the All You Need Is Love podcast on Ravelry, where I am freeze frames there. So feel free to join the group. There's a lot of things going on at the moment, including our baby knit along, which I am hosting with Lottie from the And Just Another podcast, and it's running until the end of June. There's already a lot of really cute and adorable projects. I'm really liking this thread. There's so much inspiration, and it's making me want to knit a lot more stuff that I already have planned. So yeah, feel free to join us. I'm also on Instagram as Alinor89, and that's pretty much it. So today is June the 4th, and it's been around 2 weeks since I last recorded. News, I guess. Last week was my birthday. I turned 26. Thank you to everyone who has left me a message on my blog or on Instagram or anywhere else. I'm not a huge fan of birthdays, but I did have a nice day. I went to Paris for the day. I had sushis, which is the best form of birthday cake, I think. And then I stopped by my local yarn store, who had just gotten a shipment of Malabrigo. So I did get a nice skein, which I will show you later on. I also stopped by my favorite bookstores, which are near the Louvre and the Garden of Les Tuileries. So I got a new book, and then I spent the rest of the day at Les Tuileries in the sun, reading and enjoying some Starbucks. So that was a pretty nice day, I guess. And now I'm 1 year older, which I'm not a huge fan of, but it's okay. And we'll see what happens, I guess, in the next year. So this week I have 3 finished objects, 4 works in progress, and lots of new things to show you. So let's start. So like I said, I have 3 finished objects. None of them are blocked yet, but I wanted to show them to you, so I waited, and I will block them right after the episode is up. The first one is a hat I made. Very simple spring hat. I'm calling it spring hat because I made it out of fingering weight yarn. And as you can see, it's a simple stockinette stitch hat. The yarn is Spud & Chloe fine, which is superwash merino and silk. And the colorway is this deep blue, and I think it's called Snorkel. So really simple hat. I didn't really follow a pattern. I just cast on 140 stitches on 3mm needles, and then I did stockinette stitch until I was bored with it and decreased. So it's a bit of it's not quite snugged on my head, more of a little bit slouchy, which is just the way I like them. So I'm really happy with this hat. And I might not block it. I mean, it doesn't really need it. I will wash it if I have to, but I'm really liking it. So that's my first finished object. The second one is my garter yoke baby cardigan, which is the one I am making for the baby knit along. And this one will be for my nephew, which is due in October. So this is the cardigan. Like I said, it's not blocked yet, but it's all finished. And I had so much fun working on that little cardigan. The pattern is by Jennifer Oel, and it was a free pattern on Ravelry. And what I really liked about it is how you can pretty much make 5 of those, and each one will be different, because you could do one in full garter stitch, one with just stockinette, you could go the seed stitch way, and then you can play with colors. On mine, I decided to use 2 colors, a white one for the majority of the cardigan, And then for all the little details, like the cuff and the bottom, the button buttons, I went with a light beige yarn. And I did stripes on the garter yoke increases. And I think it's just gorgeous. The little buttons I got from Maya from the Wool Barn. And I wasn't too sure which button I should use for this cardigan, and then I saw that I had those, and I think it's a perfect fit. It will be very cute on a baby boy, I think. So the yarn I used was Drops Baby Merino in white and light beige. I used almost a full skein of the white one, and I'd say around half of the beige skein. So very pleased with the yarn. It's very elastic and soft. I think it's going to be perfect for a baby because it's very, very soft. I did made a few modifications from the original patterns. Mostly when I'm starting a new pattern, I go to the project page on Ravelry and I tick the most helpful project on the little scroll bar, so that I can see what changes people have made and if there's been any mistakes on the pattern. Usually that's where I find out. So a little modification I made, for instance, on the original pattern, when you pick up to continue the body and then later on pick up for the sleeves, it didn't tell you to add more stitches, you know, like you usually pick up so you don't end up with like a hole in the underarm. So I did pick up a little more stitches, around 4 or 6 I think. And I also, to finish the cardigan, I added a little crochet edging in the beige, which I think gives it a nice finish. And I'm really liking it, so I'm going to wash it and then it will go into a bag where all of my baby projects are going, so they can be protected from my cats and everything, because I've been knitting a lot of baby stuffs, but the babies are due like in August and October or November, so I'm going to have to keep everything safe and clean until then. So that was my second finished object, and my third one is my campsite shawl. So this shawl was a lot of trouble. I just couldn't figure out what to do with it for a long time. Like I said last time, this is really not true to color at all. It's a much deeper red, more like a cherry red or raspberry red. And like I said, it's not blocked yet, so it's big, but it's going to be a lot bigger when it's blocked. And so the campsite shawl is a free pattern by Alicia Plummer, and it's a DK weight shawl. So what happened is that like a year ago I started a call for me in using this red yarn, and it took me forever to make, and only to realize once I had finished it that I sort of hated it. So instead of just having it sitting on my shelves and never be worn, I decided to rip it out and use the yarn for my campsite. I kind of knew that I had a little less yardage than what the pattern called for, so I just figured I would knit as much as I could, and either bound off if I had enough, or maybe had another color of yarn, which, as you can see, is what I ended up doing. So yeah, I wasn't sure. I usually do like one color projects, so this is one of my very first projects where I had to pick a second color, and I really wanted to make like not a large last section, which is a 2x2 ribbing, but long enough that I knew I didn't have enough of the red yarn. So I thought I would try this combination, and I didn't like it, so I ripped it out and I started again, and by the third try I decided that I liked it, so I went all the way to the end of the ribbing and bind off, and I'm really liking the shawl. I think that deep red and that blue jeans kind of color go really well together. So I am excited to bind this one, to block this one, because I know it's going to grow, like it's going to be huge. I'm not going to wear it right now. It's more of a winter kind of shawl because, like I said, it's DK yarn and mine yarn. The red one is it's 100% alpaca by Artisano DK. It's Artisano DK 100% alpaca yarn in the red chili colorway. And the second color, which I'm going to show you, I actually decided to hold two yarn together. So one is Drops Fable Uni in the jeans colorway, and the second one is it's a alpaca and silk mix, and it's from a French indie dyer which is called Vilaine. And I don't know if you can see, it's a slightly variegated yarn, so it's blue with lighter shade of blues, and I held those two together. Sorry for the cat. I had a trouble with the camera. So like I said, I held two different yarns together, which gave more of a almost worsted weight, which I think worked pretty well for the shawl because I like the edging to be a little bit thicker than the rest of the shawl, it just gives it a nice drape, and I really like it. So I'm very pleased with it. I can tell I'm going to wear it a lot, like when I wake up in the morning or late in the evening when I just want an extra layer and because it's a bit chilling outside or something like that. So very pleased with it. Definitely recommend the pattern. Maybe not if you're a beginner because you can have it's completely charted, but you kind of have to be able to read your knitting because the charts are not quite complete. So you have to, you need to be quite a confident knitter, I would say. But it's really nice. I love the eyelets, and I want to make eyelets on everything right now. I think it looks great. So I will block it, and I think I will show it to you again next episode once it's blocked, just to show you how big it's become, and just because I want to. So those were my pre-finished objects, and now we are going to move on to my works in progress. So I have 4 new things on the needles. Honestly, I started a new one yesterday morning, and it's the only thing I've been working on for the last 30 hours. I just can't put it down. I'm loving it. So I'm going to start with this one to show you. And it's the Aristidashold by, can't remember her name, but that's from Knit Scene Accessories 2012. So it's a shawl pattern, a lace shawl pattern with diamond all the way. Trying to give you a better look. So I started it yesterday, so you can tell I've been knitting a lot on it. I am loving this pattern. It looks quite elaborate, but it's actually very easy to just read. Basically, I can tell what I'm supposed to do just by looking at the row below, which is really something I like when I'm knitting, because I don't like having to always look up at the patterns or the charts. So I memorized this one. Maybe I did 2 sequences and then I knew it. So it's been a lot of fun working on it, and it's going to be like a summer shawl. It's very light and airy, and I think it has a nice kind of, I don't know, bohemian or folk vibe. And the best part, you can't even tell yet, but at the bottom it's going to have a lot of fringes, which I'm really into. So I'm very, very excited to finish this shawl, and I think I'm going to knit on that and that only for a few days, because I really want to have it done as soon as possible. So the yarn I'm also very excited about because this is from Gregory Fibers. She's Anna and she lives in Munich. And she recently started dyeing her own yarn using only natural plants and flowers and stuff like that. And she had an update not long ago, including 2 gorgeous skeins of yarn that were dyed with walnuts. And it was on my birthday, and she posted something on Instagram, and I just told her I need those 2 skeins. So I ordered them on my birthday, and they came here beginning of last, like 4 days ago, I think, 5 days maybe. And I had to cast on to win the yarn right away, and I just couldn't wait. I got 2 skeins, so this is the second one. As you can see, it's Gregory Fibers. This is the yarn. I love it, and it's merino and nylon, and it's a very big skein because there's almost 460 yards. So I would say it's slightly thinner than fingering, so it's like a light fingering, which is perfect for a very drapey and light shawl. And I just love that color. It's like a very light brown, slightly variegated. And this is the one I'm knitting out of, so you can tell I have done a lot of progress already, and the skein is still huge. So I want the shawl to be quite long, so I'm probably going to use maybe even more than 1 skein, and the second one, the leftover of the second skein might become a pair of socks or something like that. I am just loving that shawl, so definitely go check out her store. I know she has an update coming this weekend, I think, so go check it out. She has gorgeous yarn, and she is also Gregory Fibers on Instagram, and she has a gorgeous feed, so you should definitely follow her and get inspired like I am every day. So that was my first work in progress, and my favorite one by far. The second one is a pair of mittens. I have no idea why I cast on a pair of mittens. I think I was all of my other works in progress at the time were a bit not complicated, but required like a lot of attentions and tiny needles. So I don't know, I woke up one morning and I thought I should make a pair of mittens. So I did that. And the pattern I had for a while, it's called Antiquity by Alicia Plummer. She's the same designer than from my campsite show. And I already have 1 mitten, almost 1 mitten. It needs a thumb, like you can see. And it's a very pretty pattern using a stitch called broderie anglaise. I don't know if you can tell. So it's like little holes. So it's a very nice springy pair of mittens, I'd say. I'm very, very happy with it, and I knit that in maybe 2 days, I think. So it's very quick and mindless, and I'm really liking it. I've had the yarn I actually got the pattern and the yarn maybe 7-8 months ago, but I didn't have the right needles at the time for it. So it just sat in a little bag forever. And I recently got a lot of different needles, like I showed you last episode. So I was finally able to cast it on, and I'm really liking it. The yarn, here's the skein. And it's Queens & Co. Chickadee in the Twig colorway, which is 119. And it's Chickadee's sport weight yarn, and it's 181 yards per ball, and it's American yarn. So the color is, yeah, that's pretty much true to color. So I can tell I'm going to have even leftovers after I make the pair of mittens. So definitely one is more than enough. And I think with one, yeah, you can make a pair of mittens. You might need a second one if you want to make a hat, for instance. But it's just a perfect, quick little project, I think. So I haven't cast the second one on right now, but I will do it in the next days, I think. So that was my second work in progress. The third one you've already seen. It's my Apricot Shiwi cardigan, and I really need to work on that cardigan because I've been lazy and it's been sitting on the desk for a week and I haven't touched it. So I think the last time I showed it to you, I was still working on the body, which you can see I have finished. So it's a cropped cardigan. It hits just the middle of my waist. And I am onto the sleeves now. So I have started the first sleeve. I'm about halfway through. It's going to be full length sleeves and I'm at the elbow. And I am so glad that those sleeves have a little bit of design elements, because if it was just stuck in it, I just wouldn't do it, I think. Because sleeves are just so boring, honestly. But this one is very nice to work on because basically I'm always like, okay, one more little flower, or maybe one more, and that's how I've been making progress. The little stitch markers I'm using to mark my decreases so that I can make the same ones on the second sleeve. And I really need to get working on that one. The plan is to finish the first sleeve, then I will do the button buns, I think, and then the second sleeve. So I really like it, and the weather is actually perfect to wear it right now, so I really need to get work on it. I'm just the worst when it comes to sleeves. I need like someone to knit sleeves for me, I think. So that's my third work in progress. And the yarn is Drops Fiber Unicolors in the jeans colorway. It's sock yarn, I mean it's wool and nylon, but it's just, I love the color, so I decided to make it into a cardigan. And I've tried it on a lot and it's perfect. Just my size, and it's very light. So it's just going to be perfect on top of like a t-shirt or even a dress, a summer dress. So definitely need to get working and cracking on it. The pattern was free, but only in April. I think it's a paid for pattern now, but it's really nicely done. I don't think I made any modifications. I might have picked out a little bit more under the arm, but I always pick up more because if I don't, I end up with holes. So what I do usually is that I pick up maybe 2 to 4 more stitches than what the patterns call for, and then I decrease on the following rounds. And this way I have no holes and the fit is perfect. So I don't know, what do you guys do when it comes to like underarm to avoid holes? I'd like to know. I think that's it for my third works in progress. And the fourth one I'm also very excited about. I wanted, on my birthday, I wanted to cast on something a bit special. So I decided to start my very first lace weight circular shawl. The pattern is a free pattern on Ravelry and it's called the Shipwreck Shawl. And it's gorgeous. It's just beautiful. I've never knitted anything with lace before, so I'll be honest, it took me, I think, 10 tries, something like that, until it worked. It's just like the yarn is tiny, the needles are quite small, and I just couldn't figure it out at first, and it was just a mess. I ended up figuring out the best way for me, which is to use 2 different circular needles. And I'm going to show it to you so it makes sense. This is my shawl so far. It's very complicated to show, but you can have an idea. So obviously it's full on lace, so you can't really tell the pattern yet, but once it's finished, like in the next 3 years maybe, and once it's blocked, it's going to be gorgeous. So yeah, like you can see, I'm using 2 different pairs of circular needles, and once it's big enough I will just use one, and that's my main pair, and it's my interchangeable needles. So I just got a new cable, the biggest one they had, because well, lace weight shawl are supposed to be big. It's going to be huge. So basically I will go up a cable size as soon as I need to. Right now it's a small one, it's 60 centimeter, and I have an 80 centimeter and a 100 centimeter. So hopefully I could always like connect 2 together to make an even bigger cable, but clearly I'm not there yet. The pattern is very clear. It's charts, a lot of different charts, and I'm just following them one line at a time. So I'm really liking it. It's not something I work on like at night or something like that, because I need to focus and have good light. But I'm loving it. I think it's going to be pretty amazing. And yeah, it's awesome. The yarn is from Maya, from the Wool Barn, and it's a BFL and silk lace base. I don't know if it's going to focus. And the color is just gorgeous. It's like different shades of a blue jeans, but because there's silk in it, there's like so much light and it's so shiny, and I love it. So very excited about this shawl, and I feel like it's something that needs to go on a wall once it's done, because go check out the pattern on Ravelry. It's just gorgeous. It calls for beads. I don't know if I'm going to add them or not. If I do, it's going to be on the very last section, which kind of looks like a fishing net, but like pretty, with yarn. So clearly I'm not there yet, but something I'm going to think about, because I'm thinking it would be just even more beautiful with beads. So maybe I might hide those. We'll see. So like I said, very excited. Basically loving everything that's on the needles lately. Last week was a bit weird because like only 2 days ago I had nothing off the needles, because I had started like 6 different stuff, and I don't know, I was working on everything, but it felt like I wasn't making any sort of progress, because I was doing like 1 row there, 1 row here, and that just wasn't working for me anymore. So at some point I stopped everything. I grabbed only one project. I worked on it until it was done, and then I grabbed another one, worked on it until I finished it, and that's how I got 3 stuff off the needles in 2 days. And I'm still going with that because that seems to be working for me. Right now I'm going full on my Aristidashold, and then I will move on to my cardigan, I think, because it needs to be finished at some point. I still can, if I feel like casting something on, I will, but then I put everything in bags, and I'm just trying not to work on everything at the same time, because that just doesn't work for me at the moment. So yeah, really enjoying the flow, and still it's getting hot, but I did work a lot on my camsat shawl, and it's pretty thick and very hot yarn. So, and I didn't have much of an issue with it. So I feel like I'm going to be able to knit through the summer, which is really cool. Yeah, that's my first summer knitting. I got a lot of the thing I hear the most, like on the Ravelry group, is that people are very surprised at what I'm knitting, knowing that I've only been knitting for a year and a half. And yeah, I don't know, is it weird that I'm doing lace shawls? I feel like it doesn't have a lot to do with for how long you've been knitting, but more like what sorts of things you've been knitting and how intensely you've been knitting, because yeah, it's been only 1 year, but I've been knitting basically every single day during that last year. So I don't know, I kind of like going straight for the complicated stuff. It's something I do not just for knitting, all the time, like in life in general. I don't really like starting with something simple, because I feel like if I start right away with something that's a bit of a challenge, then I don't get bored and I learn a lot of stuff. I make a lot of mistakes, but I just try again and again, like I did with my lace shawl. And by the time I finish that first complicated stuff, I feel like everything after that is simple. So yeah, I didn't start knitting with like a garter stitch scarf because I knew I would have gone crazy with boredness. So I don't know, that's how I learn things, I think. I just try complicated stuff and follow the instructions, and I do watch a lot of YouTube videos if I can't understand like a stitch pattern or something like that. And I'm just having fun with it. So yeah, that's how I do it, I guess. So that was all of my works in progress. I have a few more stuff to show you, including some new yarns and a package that arrived just this morning. So first, like I said, on my birthday I went to my local yarn store, and they had just got a lot of new Malabrigo yarn, and I really like Malabrigo. I think they have a really nice yarn quality, but my favorite thing about it is the colors. They're just amazing. I mean, from all of the brands I've tried so far, they definitely are my favorite color combos by far. So I was very nice, and I only got one skein, and oh, gorgeous is that. I'm in love with it. It's got purples and like seafoam green and light blue, turquoise blue, and I mean, purple isn't even really my color, and yet I love this one. So it's just gorgeous. And so it's a lotus colorway on their sock base. So, here you go. And I just love that yarn. I'm not sure if it's going to become a shawl or I don't know, but I love it. And I saw another one on the shop that I really wanted, and it's also on the sock base, and the color is Impressionist blue, and it was just a gorgeous, I can't describe that shade of blue, but it was very, very pretty. But she only had one, and I kind of thought that I could make a top out of it, but I would have needed 2 skeins. So I'm going to wait a little bit, but I'm thinking I might get those 2 skeins from my online knitting shop where I can buy my, I know she has Malabrigo too, so I could go there. And that might happen at some point, but not right now, because I got a lot of yarn in May, which mostly was because it was my birthday month and I wanted to just treat myself, I guess. But that means I'm not going to be buying any yarn in June. So I said it here, you heard me, just help me. Don't help me make that happen, because I just can't buy any yarn. I have a lot of stuff, and I need to use my stash. So that's also why I treated myself in May, because I knew I would try to be nice in June. So that's the first thing I got, and I love it. The second one I already showed you. It was the yarn from Gregory Fibers. I also got a book, which is this book. I had heard about it a while ago. It's from Cardigan, and you might have heard the story. She was a Yale student teaching. She was studying to become a writer, and she died at 22. She had just graduated from Yale, and so they decided to publish a book of the essays she wrote on when she was in college and in high school. And honestly, I just love that title. The first time I heard about the book, I just heard the title and I just loved it. And I can't talk about it too much because, like you can see, I haven't finished it, and I think it's weird to tell if you like a book or not until you've finished it. But I can tell I liked the very first, because it's different essays. I have read 5, I think, so far, and the first one is called The Opposite of Loneliness, and that was definitely one that I liked. And I mean, it's very weird when you think about it. There is no word to say the opposite of loneliness, and that's just weird, right? So yeah, I don't know if you're interested in me talking about the books I'm reading on the podcast. Let me know. But you can always go check out my blog, where I do book reviews like every 2 or 3 months, I think. And I'm also doing a reading challenge in 2015, which is called the 26 books in 2015. And basically I have 26 prompts, like read a book set in the summer, or read a book from an author you've never heard of, read a book everyone has read but you, or a book with a female heroine. There's 26 different prompts. You can, they're on my blog if you want to go check it out. And this one is going to be my book with a blue cover. So I'm really happy about that. So yeah, go check it out if you're curious, and let me know what you're reading this summer, because I have like 50 books waiting for me on my Kindle, but I'm always looking for new ones. So yeah, I'd like to hear your opinion and like, what's your favorite book? So I think that would be nice. Next, like I said, I got a package this morning from Lottie. So she is Lottie Lesecat on Instagram, and she has the And Just Another podcast, knitting podcast on YouTube. And Lottie and I have been chatting a lot since we met each other like through Ravelry and our podcast. And she lives in Germany, but she's about to move to Australia. So she was like destashing her stuff and stuff like that. And apparently everyone knows that I'm a huge Frankie magazine fan. And she had a few issues, so she asked if I was interested. And of course I was, because there were back issues that I didn't have. And so she mailed them to me. And that was so cool. And because it was my birthday, she included a few more stuff. Included this very awesome lollipop. Like, look, it's bigger than my head. So there were a lot of teas too, which I love getting a German tea, because I don't speak German. So basically I never know what I'm drinking, which I think is kind of exciting. So yeah, lots of teas, which are all in the kitchen, so I can show them to you. There were my Frankie issues, and also these, it's all done, yarn done, these 2 skeins of yarn. And this one, you guys, I love it. It's a bit lighter in foreign, more like turquoise, or yeah, seafoam, I'd say. And it's from a brand I will not try to pronounce, but you can see it here. And it's sock yarn, so like nylon and wool. And I have no idea what I'm going to make with it, but I love it. I mean, I'm a blue kind of girl, so you can't go wrong with giving me blue yarn, clearly. Thank you so much, Lottie. I loved my package, and it was the best mail. So I got weird looks at the post office because like she had stuffed a lot of pink stuffs on it, and there were watermelons, washi tape, and so it was the best package ever. So thank you so much. And I got 2 more skeins of yarn in May, but I think I'm going to show them to you next week because they're not next to me right now, and this way I will have yarn to show you on the next episode. And it's not on the needles right now. I'm waiting to cast. They're both from an English indie dyer, and Kay from the Bakery Bears podcast is going to be hosting a British knit-along in July. So I'm actually waiting for it to start to use my skeins because they're from an English dyer, and I think it's a really cool knit-along. I'm currently doing 2 knit-alongs. So the first one is the one I'm hosting with Lodi, and it's a baby knit-along. And the second one is from Diane from the Suburban Stitcher, and it just started, and it's an around your neck knit-along, which is perfect because I'm always knitting shawls, and that's really cool. So I just love knit-alongs, honestly. So that's nice, and I think that's it for this week. Hope you are having a great sort of beginning of summer. It's been really nice here and sunny, and hope you're doing a lot of knitting, and I can't wait to go back to my shawl because I'm just really excited about this one. I can't stop thinking about it. So I will see you soon, and until then, happy knitting and have a great day. Bye.